Hey, good evening. All right, I'm back. I am back. I am definitely back. I've been forced to create videos again. But I still gotta work. So I'm doing this for my hobby, and I'm also doing this for my job. I gotta earn a living, right? You know, I may be a retired Navy, but I still gotta make some money here so that I could live decently. Right. Anyway, so a few friends of mine oh my God, past few months, been communicating with them with regards to reloading, and it had progressed a stage to where I really don't want to end up typing a lot of information. It's a lot of information, and I keep sharing the same info. So I thought I might just as well create a video so that if somebody's got a question on this topic, just like when I have a question with regards to buyers or homeowners, I could just create videos and kind of slam dunk, kind of hit a few birds with one stone, and that's what I'm doing here right now. All right, so the topic of conversation is reloading 101. So what better way to continue this discussion and to have this discussion than to actually start on the mere basics of reloading. Yeah, I get a lot of questions. Hey, what dies do you use? What reloader do you use? How much is it going to cost? So I told myself that, you know what, we might as well start from scratch here. First of all, I'm sorry about the lighting. I'm in my garage. I want plenty of lighting because you have powder dispensers, you have primers that are all over the place. You're creating ammunition, you got bullets, and sometimes they fall on the floor, and you don't want that, all right? So you want to be very, very safety conscious when you do this job. That's the first thing. The most common question that I get when it comes to reloading is not just how do we start. The how do we start portion is a topic by itself. So let's start this by getting the basic question answered, which is what kind of reloaders are there for them to use, what kind of brands, what kind of models. I can only provide you the general schematics of schemes. I'm not going to tell you what brand to buy. All right. Now you could send me a question, send me a comment, because I want to be as fair, as impartial as I can, unbiased. Because right now I'm very biased. I have here a pair. I'm actually hopefully have to have another reloader of the brand Dylan. Now, if you're going to be starting on venturing into reloading, you probably already know a few brands or so, all right? And there are thousands, no, not thousands, not even hundreds, a few dozen of them. You know, start with the Dylan, Lyman, Lees, MECs, Forsters, oh, you got Hornadies, all right? RCBS, and they are all good, reputable companies. Now, it just differs on how much you really want to spend on a system. Let me tell you this. If you've been shooting a while, you know how much ammunition is. And if you shoot anywhere, if you go to the range every month, let's just say 100 rounds a month. Let's say 1,200 rounds a year. Let's say $1 a round. 1,200 bucks. If you've been contemplating on reloading, I think you could spend $500 on a brand new reloader. All right. Now, you could spend as much as you want, but my point is, if I am reloading my brass, right? If I'm reloading my, they're all over the place here. I got like 3 workbenches and compartments here. I have a safe here just for brass. If you're gonna be reloading primers, whose main function is to explode, so that it blows that powder out and discharges that projectile, you may want to purchase the best you can afford. It's like a firearm. I'm sorry, I am not fond of the high point, but why would I purchase a $100 firearm wherein almost every review you hear, there will be something wrong with it? If for another $100, I could get a very decent Glock. You see? This is a hobby that when it goes wrong, and I'm not saying that something can go wrong. Well, something can, but will it? I suggest you spend. It's not just a hobby, all right? So when you combine powder, projectile, and primer, you may want to spend a little bit more than the cheapest. Okay, that being said, there's plenty of brands out there. I don't think the brand would be relevant at this discussion right now, but what I want to ponder on is the kind of reloader setup that you may want to purchase. There's two types. A single stage, wherein at one operation of a handlebar, you are actually only creating one function. If it is about depriming, every time you bring it up, you pull the cartridge out, put one in. Pull it down, brass in, bring it up. So that is the function. That is a single stage reloader, right? The next one is what I have, is a progressive. What it means is that in any reloading scenario, there will be more than one function to ultimately end up. Let me pull out some built cartridges here. To be able to create ammunition, right? 300 blackout, 9mm, 40 cal, 223, 5.56, right? Let's pull all of these out. To be able to create one projectile, which is one cartridge. Okay, so right now I have a 300 blackout, 223, 5.56, a 40 cal, and a 9mm. Those are what I create. Those are what I reload. Okay, for every one drop of the handlebar, I am performing 4 functions, depending on the amount of dice you have set up. That is a progressive style reloader. Okay, so you're probably wondering, oh shit, I'm just gonna get a reloader. Well, yeah, exactly. For every 1 minute that you're performing on a job on a single stage, bam, up, down, up, whatever. Here, for every stage you perform, you are performing 4 functions, all right? Just with a tweak of the dial right here, okay? So, which is time is of value, time of the essence, and you're creating more ammunition. Now, is it going to cost you more? Yeah, that's going to cost you more. Is it going to be significantly more? Not really. Let me give you an example. I'm actually going to buy another. It's a single stage, but it's not a single stage. Sort of a single stage / progressive reloader from Dillon, a third one, which will allow me to be very specific on my loads. A third one that you don't need 2 or 3, you only need 1, all right? But why I'm doing that is that this allows me to mass produce ammunition. That single stage allows me to be very specific on my loads, on my crimping, and on the removal of the dies. Okay? Now, why is that important? Is because as you go through this cycle of dies and reloading functions, you eventually are going to be more specific on your creation of your cartridges. So, for the moment, I would suggest, now again, I will not suggest a brand. That would be up to you guys to make that determination on what brand would be best for you. They all function the same way. They all come out with the same product. A completed cartridge, wherein you have the bullet that is crimped, that is seated on a brass that has been primed and resized. All right, so 5 functions in one operation can be achieved. Now it's up to you to make the necessary purchase, because I know where to go when I just want to buy a very simple single stage reloader. I can go to Cabela's and get me a cheap $100 set of lease. Or a Hornady would be decent enough. I could go online to the majority of these reloader websites and get you a progressive reloader. Almost every brand, every brand has a progressive. Not every brand has a single stage reloader. Okay? Yes, and the difference in price is not really significant. For another $100 from a single stage to a progressive, you could get a decent progressive. Right now, the Dillon would cost you around $500. The single stage, which is not really a single stage, but allows you to separate every stage, is $350. Now, a Lee can cost you less than $150 and about $200 per progressive. RCBS is somewhere around $300, right? Ornadies around the same thing, okay? And this is, I don't work for Dillon, but the reason I went for it is that it has no BS lifetime warranty, buddy. Let me give you an example on how good that is. The second one that I purchased was from a friend of mine, another retired Navy senior chief. He didn't have any need for it, but he got himself a brand new one. After he purchased one, he was stationed in Japan. He owned it for like 5 years, never used it, came to America, and he noticed that there were some parts missing. So he called up the company, and Dillon sent him a brand new Dillon, right? Of course, he had to send the old one back, but they sent no questions asked. And I've had my original one break a spring. Question, hey, you know what? They sent me a new one. I had one of those cartridge bins where you slap in the ammo, right? Broke up the hinge. Okay, send me a new one. Okay, so I don't work for them. I don't get nothing out of this, but that is why there's a lot of very satisfied Dillon customers. It's a little bit pricey. Again, if you have $500 to spend, get the Dillon. Okay, but you can go walk into Cabela's or Bass Pro, and they have a whole set of Hornadies. I don't know how good their customer service is, but I've already tried this on the system that I use. Okay, RCBS, they're good too. Lyman's, they're good too. As a matter of fact, the other day I just bought a Lyman trimmer, right there. Never ends. Okay, so hopefully that answers the question of the different types of brands that we have. Okay. My setup, let me tell you how my setup is. One reloader will reload anywhere from a 22 to a 50 cal. One reloader. Now it's just up to you to replace the head, the tool head, and the dies. See, I could pull the whole thing out, slap it in with a new 300. I have two setups of 300 blackouts, one for suppress, one for supersonics. This one, and I have a 223 built set up here. This one's for my pistol rounds, 9mm and 40, and ultimately I'll get a 45, and if I ever get primers for 10 mil, I'll get a 10 mil. But I do not reload ammunition that I do not shoot. Or if I'm going to shoot, I'm going to reload it. Let's just put it that way. Okay? So every brand can reload almost every cartridge. So it's irrelevant if you ask me, hey Marcus, would the Dillon reload? No, almost every brand will. The difference is how it does the function differently. Okay? The beauty of the Dillon, I could pull the whole thing out. I could leave everything set up, grab a new tool head and slap it in. Because the thing that's going to vary are the dies. All right, the dies itself. Okay, you're going to have to buy a set of dies. Per caliber. All right? There's no way around that. You have to buy a set of dies per caliber. I have 5 sets of dies for 4 different calibers. And plus a few specific more dies for crimping and resizing. So as you go along through this process, you will understand how this goes. This is just for reloading. Okay? So if you have any questions about the different reloader types and what I think about one particular reloader, send me a question, send me a comment, send me a note on Facebook. You know what? I'm here all the time. I don't go work 24/7. I don't sell or buy houses. I would love to, because it's an excellent way to, you know, it's like my MO is to get the commission and buy more stuff and buy more guns. But we'll talk about that some other time. So the next stage would be how much it's going to cost you to buy all these stuff. Just to forewarn you, the next video that I will create, I'm going to lay out the different items that you will need aside from the reloader and the dies. Hold on into buying a pre-packaged system, because why? Half of that stuff you don't need. Half of that stuff you can buy cheaply. Your bread and butter are your reloaders, all right? To the men and women that are currently deployed, to the men and women that are currently coming home, to everybody else that I know, that I do not know, that I know that are serving, there is a reason why we are currently retired. There is a reason why we get to do what we do now, because you folks out there get to do what you do now. We appreciate it. We are very thankful. We want you to come home safely. Your family and your friends are waiting. We love you all. And I will see you guys on the next video. You folks enjoy the evening. Post.